How's it going? Pastor Andrew coming at you with another thought of the week. One of the big things in the last, honestly, 10 years or so since I've been out of high school is social media. Social media, I remember when I first started, was only Facebook, and even before that, it was like AOL Instant Messenger and MSN and all that instant messaging type talk. But the idea of social media has been something that's honestly changed our culture, it's changed our life. I remember back in the day, even before Facebook, the days of MySpace. Being a youth pastor, it's sometimes fun to talk about MySpace and the youth kids now that just goes right over their heads. They have no idea what MySpace is. And I remember when I was their age, that was kind of the root to a lot of discussions, and it talks about social media. And even then, we didn't really talk about social media as a term in and of itself. But over the last few years, seeing Facebook evolve, and then the coming out of Twitter, and then the coming out of Instagram and Snapchat and all these other social media platforms. And it makes me think about this idea that the Bible teaches us called encouragement. With the ability of social media, it gives us the ability to kind of paint a picture of who we are, what we value. We can take quizzes, and then people can tell they know, what's our favorite movie, or what are our different things that we like, or even the ones that's like, take this quiz and tell everybody all the different states or countries you visited. The point that I'm trying to get at, though, is social media is, like everything else in this world, a double-edged sword. It gives us this amazing, amazing ability to connect with and to communicate with people all over the world. It allows me to talk to family members back in Chicago. It lets Anna talk to her family and keep up with her family up in Nebraska. But with social media, it allows us to encourage. But on the flip side, and unfortunately I think it's the side a lot of us takes, it allows us to discourage others. One of the things that I have to constantly check myself on when I'm on social media is jealousy. I'm sitting there scrolling, or I'm sitting on the couch scrolling, and getting jealous, like, oh, those people get to be on vacation right now, or oh, they just got a new car, they got a new home, or something like that. I think we allow our jealousy to take over, and it causes us to have a hard time encouraging one another. I'm very grateful for those people in my life that are able to use social media as a platform of encouragement. You know, as Christians, we need to be encouraging of one another. I think we also have this issue within the Christian community that we kind of have our individual churches, and we've allowed this corporation type thinking to take over, in that, this is my church. This is my organization of believers. These are my Christians. And all those other churches out there, cool, they're Christians, but we're not going to associate with them. We're not going to encourage them. Hopefully we have more attendance than they do on Sunday. Hopefully we're able to draw more people at our church, and we're not going to encourage them. And that's so incredibly wrong. You know, One of the things I think we oftentimes forget about in the Christian community is we're not united by denominations. We're not united by certain teachers. We're not united by certain beliefs that humans have taken and kind of twisted God's words and used that kind of as our rally call. We forget that we're united under Christ. We forget that as long as we believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins, that He's the only true way to heaven. All this other stuff, all this other theology type stuff, amillennialism versus, dispensationalism, Calvinism versus Arminianism. Yeah, it's cool to get together, and it's cool to discuss it in a positive and encouraging way. But the thing is we need to remember that as Christians, we need to encourage one another. Baptists go out and encourage those Methodists. Methodists go out and encourage those Presbyterians. We're all united under Christ. We should encourage one another. Even outside the spectrum of the church, are we encouraging people? Or are we tearing people down? Because again, I think it's super easy to tear people down because we allow our pride and jealousy to take over. Because in reality, we need to encourage. We need to be open and honest with one another. So ask yourself that question. When somebody asks you, hey, how's it going? How honest are you being? Because I think it's super easy to just hold it, oh, I'm living the dream, things are going fine, and not really getting super deep with what we're struggling with. I call it the Sunday morning smile. We have this connotation that on Sunday mornings when we step into the church foyer, we have to have this fake smile on. We have to have this, yeah, everything's great. Things are going awesome. No problems here. When in reality, we might have just had an argument with our spouse in the car on the way. Some issue with our kid. Or, work is going really hard and we're super stressed out. I think the first step when it comes to encouragement is being open and honest with people for encouragement. Don't lie and don't and brush all of that under the carpet. Be honest. Be like, yeah, I'm struggling with this, or I'm dealing with this right now. And having the ability to accept encouragement. I'm very fortunate in my life. I'm surrounded by encouragers, people that are willing to encourage me, willing to say, hey, how's this going? How are you doing? I encourage you this week, my thought of the week, and I just use social media as the example because it's something that we all use, honestly, in some way, shape, or form. Are we using these platforms as a method of encouragement? When people post things, be excited for them when they're excited. When they post something about an issue or something they're struggling with, write some words of encouragement. Instead of going, looking at it and then, texting your friends or family, be like, oh, did you see so-and-so said this? See, they're going through a hard time. I can't believe they'd be going through that. Or sitting in her heart being like, I can't believe so-and-so got this or so-and-so's doing that. Be excited for them. I think that's one of the big things that we can do as a method of encouragement, is being excited and rejoicing with people when they have a high point in their life. And when people are going through a low point in their life, having efficient and having honest encouragement. There's nothing that bothers me more as a Christian, especially as a pastor, is when we open up with somebody and they go, oh, I'm praying for you. Don't say that unless you actually are. And following up with that person, be like, hey, I've been praying for you through this throughout the week. If things getting better, if things getting worse, what else can I be doing? I'm going to continue to pray for you. I think prayer is one of the biggest ways, Christians, that we can encourage one another. Because the thing is, God has way more power than we do, but I wholeheartedly believe God uses us to demonstrate that He cares for others. So, this week, be an encouragement. Don't be a roadblock. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Have a good week.